There are no second chances when it comes to making first impressions. Reputations are really important to a lot of people. So important, in fact, that a lot of us have taken to wearing different social masks. Not only that, people have different masks for different situations. For example, you may act one way in a professional setting when meeting a client for the first time than you would in a social setting. Now, this may apply to humans, but what about animals? Or in tonight's very specific example, what about a dog? Now, dogs are generally known to be loyal and for loving unconditionally, but are they capable of wearing different social masks to get what they want? Or in tonight's character, how can an entity being seen as so incredibly evil help so many people over the course of 4 centuries? No one seems to know for certain. But I have a theory. So, if you're looking for a really good ghost story, pull up a chair. Gather around close, because tonight we examine the true motive of one of the most famous phantom hounds in all of Europe, Black Shuck. Hi, I'm Don Hahn, and welcome to In the Margins. Tonight, we're investigating the motive behind the haunting of an entire region of England called East Anglia. It's haunted by the ghost of a dog named Black Shuck. Now, Black Shuck is supposed to be a really large dog, like over 6 feet tall with long black shaggy hair. He's joined in the story by 2 other main characters. They happen to be churches. Yeah, one is the church from the town of Bungay. The other is the church from the town of Blytheburg. Now, these churches are about 7 miles apart from each other. And unfortunately for Black Shuck, his evil reputation was cemented into history because of one single day, the events that transpired between the 2 churches. And we know of this day because of an account that was written by one Reverend Abraham Fleming. Published in 1578, the pamphlet, A Strange and Terrible Wonder, provides us with one of the earliest and most detailed accounts of Black Shuck. The events chronicled by Reverend Fleming take place on August 4th, 1577. It was during the church service. It started at the St. Mary's Church here in Bungay, and it ended over here at St. Trinity's Church in Blytheburg, and all of it centers around Black Shuck, of course. Starts off with a clap of thunder. Now, the town, in this particular Sunday morning, is undergoing one of the worst storms in the town's record. No one can remember a worse storm than this one, according to Reverend's account. They first see Black Shuck appear inside the back door of the church to a clap of thunder and amid flashes of fire. Black Shuck runs up the aisle and kills 2 people kneeling at the altar in prayer. He also burns the skin on the back of an old man, injuring him. So here in Bungay, we have 3 victims in total. He then claws his way out the front door of the church and runs the distance between the 2 churches. Now, in the account, Reverend Fleming mentions it's about 7 miles. It's actually closer to 12. However, no matter how you look at it, that is a huge distance. And I say that because Black Shuck appears at the Holy Trinity Church in Blytheburg during the same amount of time, same church service. So within a couple hours, that's an incredible feat. He shows up at this church. This time, he kills 3 people at the front of the church, kneeling in prayer, and injures by burning the hand of someone else. So over here, we have 4 victims in total. Looking at this account and the events that unfolded on this same day, it looks pretty bad for his reputation. I mean, this is bad. I mean, you've got 7 victims total. It's not a good thing. However, the more times I read the account, the less convinced I became that his intentions were evil. And here's why. If you go back to when Black Shuck first appears inside the back door of the church in Bungay, To a clap of thunder. In the account, Reverend Fleming talks about lightning striking the tower over the front of the church. In fact, the tower collapses immediately after Black Shuck leaves the building. Here's what I'm thinking. Sound travels slower than light, so when you hear thunder, you know that lightning has already struck. I think the clap of thunder that was heard announcing his arrival, as it were, was actually from the lightning striking the tower over the front of the church. If Black Shuck is as evil as he is made out to be, this should have been a bloody buffet of carnage as he worked his way to the front. I mean, people between the back and the front, there are like dozens of people just standing there screaming and being afraid and all that. He should have been viciously attacking and killing as he went. But he doesn't do that. He picks his way quickly and swiftly straight to the front of the church. I don't think he was trying to hurt anybody. I think Black Shuck was trying to save them. And I think he made it to the front of the church just a split second too late because of that lightning strike hitting the tower. You already had falling and burning debris, hence flashes of fire. Hence the poor old man whose back got burned because of falling debris, in my opinion. These two people killed, kneeling at the altar, had their necks broken at an unnatural angle and a strange death, according to Reverend Fleming. I think after seeing his failure to save these three, spurred Black Shuck on to move even faster over to his next target, Blytheburg. Now in Blytheburg, he takes a different tack. He doesn't even bother with doors at this point. He isn't seen until someone spots him walking silently on top of one of the main beams in the ceiling. He jumps down off the beam, lands at the front of the church, and again, I think he's a hair too late because I also think it was another lightning strike. Lightning strikes were incredibly common because the tallest building in any town at the time was usually the church because of the tower. They got struck a lot. I think because of the 3 deaths here, also falling debris, and the burn victim, the burnt hand over here, also conducive with a lightning strike. The more I read this account, the more I look at the little bits of evidence, the less I'm convinced he's evil. Coupled with the modern day accounts. Now this is the thing. He has this horrible reputation because of this particular first setting on the stage. This is his first impression in history that we actually have of him. It's not good. Modern day accounts, like in the last 200 or 300 years though, usually have a very different view of him. People are still scared of him, of course, because of his reputation. But women, for example, telling about themselves walking home alone at night down lonely roads, and this dog, big black dog, silently, he never makes any noise, silently appears next to them and walks them to their destination, guarding them along the way. Then he vanishes like a ghost, because he is one. The people walking through the moors at night. Moors are dangerous places. They have swampy parts where if you don't know where you're going and you step into one of these, they can be really deep and you can drown. It happens all the time. When people walking through the moors at night, they see Black Shuck. It's known that if you follow Black Shuck, he'll lead you through the moors and then he'll vanish once you're to safety. I really don't think he's a murderer. I don't think he's evil. I think the evidence has stacked up through history with the personal accounts and even the original account itself that would actually allow him to break free of his reputation as a murderer. As far as the origin of Black Shuck goes, the folklore falls into 2 main camps. One feels that he is Odin's hunting dog from the Wild Hunt of Norse mythology, or the other, in my opinion, more practical version, is that he was fishing as a real dog with his 2 masters in a small boat off the coast. Their boat got capsized, and Black Shuck washes up on the beach, never seeing his 2 masters again. A lot of the sightings over the last 4 centuries have been of a black dog walking along the beach, either at sunset or sunrise. Running along, he'll stop as if he's looking for something or for someone. When I think of Black Shuck, I cannot help but wonder, what if he had not chosen to wear that mask of evil that day, scaring the people to the back of the churches so they were out of danger? How many more people would have been killed? I also wonder, what about if I could hear the voices of the 7 victims? What would they tell me? I think they would say things along the lines of, not to look upon him as a murderer of several people, but as a savior of several dozen. I feel like his guilt over not saving absolutely everybody that day in 1577 has spurred him on to keep watch over the entire region of East Anglia for the last 443 years. What about you? Would you be willing to give up ever seeing your family again? It's just so you can watch over people who don't even know you. I don't know if I could. You know what? Not all dogs go to heaven, because some of them choose to stay here and watch over us. Until next time, you guys, thanks for watching.